Hello everyone, this is Miss Jordi, the Young Adult Librarian at the Augusta-Richmond County Public Library. Thank you for joining me today as we celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month this May, and as I give you my recommendations for books to help you take care of your mental health. A very important part of adulting, or being a responsible adult, is taking care of your mental health. You may be wondering, what exactly is mental health and why is it important? According to mentalhealth.gov, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it is important because it helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Although we're talking about adulting today, mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. When people have positive mental health, they are able to realize their full potential, cope with the stresses of life, work productively, and make meaningful contributions to their communities. Before I give you my book recommendations, I want to give some background information of why we celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. In 1949, Mental Health America started the National Health Observance, of which each year has a theme. The theme for 2021 is Tools to Thrive, of which you can go to mhanational.org to find helpful resources. The goal of the National Observance is to address mental health conditions before stage 4, which is the point of crisis. The purpose is to raise awareness and educate the public about mental illnesses, such as depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder, the realities of living with these conditions, and the strategies for attaining mental health and wellness. Another purpose is to reduce the stigma that surrounds mental illness, to let people know it's okay to talk about it and to seek help. My first book recommendation for young adults is Teens and Mental Health by Elizabeth Hirschbach that was published in 2019. At around 80 pages, it is a relatively quick read. In the first 2 chapters, the author explains what mental health is and what causes mental health problems. In her introduction, she addresses the stigma of mental illness and explains that mental health problems are medical problems, and that according to some estimates, mental illness is more common than diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. She says that among teens and school-age children specifically, mental health problems are more common than any other type of health issue. However, because there are many misperceptions and negative stereotypes about mental illness, many people who struggle with their mental health are afraid to seek out the treatment they need. In Chapter 3, she discusses the effects of mental health problems, and in Chapter 4, how teens can get help by listing signs of trouble that indicate a possible mental health issue and how to find a mental health provider. She also gives a list of organizations to contact, such as Mental Health America, National Institute of Mental Health, and others. My second pick for young adults is titled Stress 101, An Overview for Teens by Margaret O. Hyde and Elizabeth H. Forsyth, MD. This is another book that is a relatively quick read at 120 pages. The authors discuss what stress is and what it means to each person. They also explain what stress does to your body, teens' brains, as well as to their heart, immune system, and gut. In Chapter 5, they discuss stress and mental disorders, such as generalized anxiety disorder, phobias, obsessive-compulsive disorder, depression, and others, as well as their treatments. In Chapter 7, the authors give teens tools for reducing stress through meditation techniques and others, such as squeezing a stress ball, getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, petting a dog or cat, listening to their favorite songs, exercise, and eating healthy foods. For more helpful books to take care of your mental health, browse the 616 section in the YA area. Several great YA fiction novels that address mental health conditions are the following: Darius the Great is Not Okay by Adib Khorram that addresses depression, The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X. Arpan, and The Memory of Light by Francisco X. Stork that discuss suicide. The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli that addresses anxiety, When We Collided by Emery Lord, and Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert that address bipolar disorder. My first pick for adults is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, A Therapist, Her Therapist, and Our Lives Reveal by Lori Gottlieb. It is a New York Times bestseller and an the Oprah Magazine Best Nonfiction Book of 2019. In this memoir, author and therapist Lori Gottlieb tells of her journey of being a therapist to her patients in Los Angeles while navigating her pain after her boyfriend of 2 years, who she thought she was going to marry, unexpectedly broke up with her. To get through this, she starts seeing Wendell, a quirky but seasoned therapist. The first chapter, titled Idiots, will have you laughing early on, and the author mentions how, while as a society we are open about formerly private matters, there is still a stigma around our emotional struggles. We talk about our physical health, but we are often uncomfortable when someone brings up anxiety, depression, or an intractable sense of grief. She reminds us to ask ourselves, quote, "What are we so afraid of? Because there's beauty in those dark places, but we have to look in there to see it," unquote. The author reminds us in the title that if we feel like we need help with our mental health, there's nothing wrong in asking for it. My second pick for adults is Black Pain, It Just Looks Like We're Not Hurting by Terry M. Williams. In this book, the author tells the story of her struggle with depression while having successfully launched her own public relations company with famous clients such as Eddie Murphy. She encourages Black people to acknowledge when something is wrong and to work through their trauma, and to motivate those who suffer with depression in silence to seek help. Self-care is important because it contributes to your mental health and takes care of your physical, mental, and emotional balance. My first pick in helping promote self-care is The Art of Extreme Self-Care, Transform Your Life 1 Month at a Time by Cheryl Richardson. In this book, there are 12 chapters that offer you a different way to practice self-care by taking small steps every month, and at the end of each chapter, she has a list of resources to help you with your self-care practice, such as books, websites, podcasts, and audio programs. Some of the chapter titles are In the Legacy of Deprivation, The Absolute No List, Does That Anger Taste Good?, and A Soul-Loving Space. My next pick for promoting self-care is The Wellness Mama, 5-Step Lifestyle Detox, The Essential DIY Guide to a Healthier, Cleaner, All-Natural Life by Katie Wells. The author gives a simple detox plan that will help you implement a system for better living by reducing toxic exposure, transforming your diet, and regaining control over your health. I especially like her chapters that have natural beauty regimens to keep your face, hair, body, teeth, and gums beautiful and healthy. I look forward to trying several of these myself. Some great adult fiction novels that address mental health conditions are the following: Transcendent Kingdom, that addresses depression, White Sargasso Sea, that addresses madness, and Turn of Mind, that addresses dementia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have been encouraged to take care of your mental health and to ask for help if you need it, as well as to make time for self-care. I also hope you check out several of these great reads that we have in our collection. Thanks again, and until next time.